All right, welcome everybody. I'm here with another episode of Metal Monday special edition with my two friends, the Pete's, I guess I'll call you, from from Zaner. Is it Zaner or Zaner?
It's Zaner.
Zaner from
Yep.
Zaner.
Zaner Precious Metals. I'm here in Chicago, right
Yeah.
across the street from the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and my father was there for many, many years, and I was over down the street at the Board of Trade for many, many years, and Pete was a trader as well, right, Pete?
That's correct. We traded at the Merc in the currency futures.
Right. So we kind of knew each other from the olden days, you know.
So real quick, today's actually Friday, but we're gonna post this on Mondays. The hope. So we've seen a real good run in copper. Do you want to give our viewers a quick oversight why you think it's running and kind of some insight on your guys' end? So
sure. I mean, first off, let's look at production. The bottom line is that if there is a shortage of anything, just basic economics 101, prices are going to go higher. We closed down the Chilean mines, both 1 and 2, the largest producing mines in the world. Third largest producing mine in the world is in Peru. Peru closed down also from coronavirus. Subsequently, we found shortages of unrefined ore, which in turn put a lot of pressure on China. China was closed down due to the virus, but it opened sooner. And as it opened sooner, they started cleaning up their reserves, and then all of a sudden they ran out of reserves. They're responsible for 60 to 63% of all the consumed copper in the world. So we ended up with more demand than there was product. And as you guys know, it drove the price higher, even though we did have debilitation in such markets as durable goods and automobile sales. We still saw people producing for the future, and the demand increased, and even in solvents we saw an increase. So subsequently we saw more buying than there was product available, and about four months ago we started to see a very, very strong market.
Yeah, well, I mean, we love to see it around 270. We'd love to see it push to 280, but that we might
280 is the number, boy. We'd love to see it hit that, but we'll see if there's enough juice there to do it, you know.
Yeah, and I would just point out that we got up and tested the high from 2 weeks ago, just shy of 270
right.
in earlier trading today, and then it sold off, and it's currently trading lower on the day. So we do have a little bit of a risk of a double top there. It's kind of suggestive of a correction, particularly if we close lower today. I could see us dropping back down into the 250
What exactly
area.
does a double top mean? What does that mean?
It is a failed test of a cycle high. Okay. So we set a high a couple weeks ago, just shy of 270. The market sold off a little bit and then took another run at it, but so far has failed to penetrate that level. So that sort of, the failed test sort of fortifies that resistance level. And the double top formation it's just what it sounds like. A high, another high that doesn't penetrate the first one. Yeah. And then it's a pretty solid technical indicator, particularly if there's a failure on the day in terms of closing lower. And so we would look for the confirmation point. So the kind of the low in between the two highs is around 253 or so. So if we break that level, it's a pretty bearish indicator. Although I would say based on the size of the potential double top formation, it would still be corrective within the longer term uptrend. But it would project down to probably 248, 247-ish area, possibly even as low as 245. But again, I think we're still going to see interest in buying the dips.
And that's what the tea leaf readers have to say. Our technicians, you know, there he is. You know?
I'm curious, yeah.
He makes fun of me. He says, even the Titanic had a good chart room.
Yeah.
And
I have to give them a little shtup occasionally. I
Yeah.
kind of like to look at the bankers that are laying the money out to buy the stuff. To me, that's when it becomes when the rubber hits the road.
no, I
He
agree.
looks at the chart, but I'll tell you something. More times than not, his technical work really is spot on. So it's good for your people to get each side of the market view.
So do you think we could get a correction down to the 250 range again, possibly? Is what you're thinking.
I think that question is to you, Pete. But yeah, I think that's possible. Certainly possible if we do in fact close lower on the day today being Friday.
I hope I hope that doesn't happen.
I do too. But
let's see
here's
what
the
happens.
other thing. The other thing, Nick, is that we're seeing so much cash out there right now. I mean, there's, I know you liked an article I did on the tidal wave of cash. It's just washing through copper right now. So there's a lot of available equity for lending as well as just outright starting projects with copper. So that's giving impetus to the market to hold this area. So I hope it continues.
Yeah,
I would also say that there was a really good article on CNBC this week about a lot of the stimulus money is going to be going into green initiatives.
Yes.
5G and electric cars and solar, and all of that is going to be creating demand for copper, silver, and some of the other metals as well.
And as we're talking to our scrappers here, these guys understand that, you have 20 to 50 pounds of copper in a car roughly. But in an electric car, you can have 120 pounds of copper in it with no problem. So net, we could see triple the consumption going into automobiles, even though they're lower. And we're seeing a lot of initiatives in a myriad of countries, from Singapore on down, that are giving tremendous rebates on the tax side for entering into electric cars. So we could see that demand picking up 3, 4, 5 months from now. We could see that cycle start up, which would be at the year end, which would make sense. It would be a very good possibility for copper to get a little extra shot.
Well, send me that article, Peter Grant. I'll post
Absolutely.
it when we post this. We'll
great.
put it on there too to share with everyone. I'd be interested to read that myself. Anyway,
Sure.
we should probably get into this part 2 of your app when you're
Yeah.
ready.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's looks like you may have disabled screen sharing there, Nick. So
try that.
All right. So
there we go.
There is the tornado hedging platform.
Beautiful.
Beautiful in its simplicity.
Yep.
So we have gold, silver, palladium, platinum, and copper.
Copper, yeah.
The first 4 you can trade down to the ounce. So you could put in a single ounce of gold, a single ounce of silver if you wanted to. On copper, it's a pound. So if you wanted to run through a scenario, Nick, I would. I'll show you how to hedge that exposure.
Let's just
what
say
have you done?
We bought a good load of MCM, which recovers at 90% copper, 88 to 90%. It's got insulation on it. It's a product that usually comes in from like a demo company, but let's just use some even numbers, make things easy. Let's say they hauled in 10,000 pounds a day.
Perfect.
We bought it aggressive. The market's on a kind of a run. Right here it's 268. Let's say, hey, with that advice you gave me earlier that we might see a dip, we wanted to hedge it. Like show me how to do it.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy, Nick. Thanks.
Super simple. So you put in your volume here.
You know what? I think we're kind of blocking it. Can you guys see it on the screen? I only see the one side of it.
I can see the volume. No, I
can you see it? Okay.
Yep,
all right, great.
Okay. So 10,000 pounds.
Yep.
And because you hold the physical at this point, so you are long the physical.
Yep.
We usually say long the vault, but in your case, you're going to be long the yard or long the truck.
Long the truck,
So you're going you're gonna buy,
Right.
you're gonna sell 10,000 pounds.
He's going to sell 9,000
copper.
because it's reduction.
That's
Remember,
true. Yeah.
he's going to have a
Ah,
10% reduction. So
Because
sell 9,000, Pete.
there you go.
exactly
And
right.
so you sell 9,000, you get your confirm. There's an option to put a reference number in. So if you have a purchase order number that you want to link to this
Okay.
particular hedge, you can put it in there. So let's just say purchase order 123,
Okay.
and then you just hit OK, and you're filled. And your fill is at 268 on 9,000 pounds.
And that's
It's
that's
that
your
simple.
price. That is it.
And I could do that from my cell phone. I could do it from my laptop.
Absolutely.
You can do that sitting in the cab of your truck. You can do that as it's being as a forklift is loading it, and you're confirming you're seeing it go in the back of the truck.
So
Oh,
here it
show them.
is.
There's your phone right there.
There it is on the iPhone. So it's the same thing. It
Yeah.
stacks them.
Yeah.
Depending on the orientation of your phone. I mean, you can do it in
So
portrait
you have
as
it's
well.
mobile friendly, which is super important in this day and age.
It really is.
Yeah. So you can be at the wherever you purchase the copper from. You could be in your truck, punch it in right there as soon as you take possession, and the deal is done. So it's pretty slick and easy. It will because this is a demo account. So that 9,000 ounces would then show in positions
10,000 pounds.
and also trading history.
Right.
But this isn't connected to the back office because it's
Yeah.
a demo account. But it's all really simple and intuitive, very easy to do.
But you know what else is nice that Pete didn't point out too is that that's live, and that this can have a conduit into your QuickBooks, let's say. So your back office, Nick, your back office will know to the penny how much cash it's got because you bought that, and right away, boom, you know where you're at. So I mean, if you need to find out if hey, I want to buy another load, where do I stand? What's my cash? It's live, it's instantaneous. You'll always know where you're at, and a lot of bookkeepers really love us for that, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure ours would too. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so we did part one, which basically was the setup.
Right.
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 How
Application.
to set up your account and get it open. Right.
Account. This part two has really covered how to do it.
Right.
One step, and correct me if I'm wrong, either of you, that we've almost missed is you've got to fund your account, though. Or did we go over the funding account in part one?
Right. So I don't believe we did actually. So once the account is set up and approved by compliance, then we send wiring instructions to the client with directions to fund the account. And it's very simple to do. You just wire the funds into, it's a US-based bank that we use. Yep. And once the account is funded, I typically do a quick test of the account to make sure all the functionality works. So I'll buy and sell 1 ounce of silver. And as long as everything flows through to where it's supposed to be, then the keys are turned over to the client and they can start hedging. And of course, Pete and I and Tom and Adam and the rest of the team are always available to answer any questions or offer advice. We're all licensed.
Now, are they wiring that money to the Pete Grant account, or does that go into?
That never happens.
Oh, it doesn't happen. I see. So that would go into their account, correct, and would be held at arm's length. We couldn't touch that money if we wanted to, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
Well, great. I think, does that cover everything we wanted to go over, gentlemen?
Absolutely, and it's important too, Pete, if you could take one real quick second and explain to them what the margin is that they get, so that they can understand that they don't need $5,000 to buy $5,000 worth of copper. Could you run that down real quickly?
Yeah, we like the clients to keep about 4% margin. So it allows you to control a large amount of metal with a relatively small amount of money. And so again, 4% is sort of the level. You know, if it gets down to 2%, we'll probably give you a nudge and let you know that you might want to put some more margin in. But you can control quite a bit of.
So if I wanted to buy $100,000 worth of copper, I'd only have to put up $4,000 in my hedge account, and I would have it covered, and therefore then I would have all that equity free to use it, however I decided to do it. Is that correct?
That's correct. Buy
Okay.
more metal.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. And it allows you over the years, as you learn how to use the buy and sell side of this, to expand your business because you have more leverage and it gives you more added security. And oh, by the way, your bankers love the fact that you're hedging. And when it comes time for you to come in and maybe borrow a little money at the bank, because we all know how cash strapped you can get in the metals business, you can go, hey, I'm never exposed. I'm hedged. And if you want, I'll even put a portal in your bank so that you could see what I'm doing if you're concerned about the size of the loan. We will be happy to assist you in any way that we can.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
You bet.
Do another one of these. So do you think we'll need 3 or 4 parts? How many more do we got?
I'll leave that up to you, Pete.
Well,
you're the man with the plan.
Well, absolutely.
All of it.
I tell you what, I mean, we've gone through how to open the account, how to trade the account, what's needed, what is everything. I think we're pretty much there. I think we really cleaned it up. I think the thing that we should be thinking about, Nick, is when you get your account open, is to show you guys using it. Particularly when we talk with Brett with platinum palladium. When you guys have some AutoCats and you want to lay it off because the spreads are so tight, you know, versus the other market. I mean, you look at our stuff and you realize how much money you're going to save by using it. What we'll do is I think we should hedge some of your AutoCats live and just show you guys going through it. We'll, of course, won't be showing accounts or anything else or amounts. You could do 10 or 20, but just you could either pick up your phone or do it on your computer or whatever. And that would be the close. Say, hey, guys, here was the steps we went through. Here was how it was done on the phone. And, oh, by the way, we want to show you live. This is our account and how it works.
Yeah, that'd be cool to do. We'll take a hard look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, guys. Well,
yep, sounds great.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, listen, have a good weekend, man.
You guys have a good weekend.
Yeah.
To all the viewers and listeners, this is going to be posted on Monday, and have a good week.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, Nick.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, man.
Bye.